and here we come to Revelation chapter 6, verse 12. He says, I watched as he opened the sixth seal, and there was a great earthquake. The sun turned black like sackcloth made of goat hair. The whole moon turned blood red, and the stars in the sky fell to earth as figs drop from a fig tree when shaken by a strong wind. The heavens receded like a scroll being rolled up, and every mountain and island was removed from its place. Then the kings of the earth, the princes, the generals, the rich, the mighty, and everyone else, both slave and free, hid in caves and among the rocks of the mountains, and they called to the mountains and the rocks, Fall on us and hide us from the face of him who sits on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. This sixth seal, you see all of a sudden, everybody on earth can see what's coming. I mean, the Catholic Church, with their wicked Pope, is looking through that Lucifer-looking device up there on Mount Graham, and they see him coming. And they are about to crap all over themselves. Urine's running down their leg. They're quivering, they're shaking, they're quaking. Because of what? The wrath of the Lamb. All this stuff that's happened up until now, it hadn't been the wrath of the Lamb. That was the wrath of the devil. And he released his wrath on the whole earth and was destroying it. And God said, okay, you've done what you can do. Now I'm going to show them what I can do. And I'm coming after you now. I'm going to have some fun with you. I'm going to have a lot of fun with you. And then, right after that, it says, for the great day of their wrath has come, and who can withstand it? And right after that, we open up and we have what are called the trumpets. It says, after this I saw the four angels standing at the four corners of the earth, holding back the four winds of the earth to prevent any wind from blowing on the land or on the sea or on any tree. And then I saw another angel coming up from the east, having the seal of the living God, and he called out in a loud voice to the four angels who had been given power to harm the land and the sea, do not harm the land or the sea until we put a seal on the foreheads of the servants of our God. And then I heard the number of those who were sealed, 144,000 from all the tribes of Israel. What we're seeing getting ready to take place here, the numbering of men for war, this is the trumpets. And we go over to Revelation chapter 8. It says, when he opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven for about half an hour. Well, that half an hour is described in chapter 7. But in chapter 8, verse 2, it says, and I saw the seven angels who stand before God, and seven trumpets were given to them. Now, when you see the trumpets, and we're going to see 7 trumpet blasts, but what immediately comes to mind? The Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, with the trumpet call of God. When you see that he's coming with the trumpet call of God, what these trumpets are all about is we go over to Numbers chapter 10 in the Bible. And what was the purpose of the trumpets? Well, we're going to do our little Old Testament Bible study right now. And in Numbers chapter 10, it said, the Lord said to Moses, make 2 trumpets of hammered silver and use them for calling the community together and for having the camp set out. The trumpet is to call the community together. They blow that trumpet, those silver trumpets, it's time to gather the people together because we're getting ready to move. There's going to be a great moving taking place. For the Lord himself will descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trumpet call of God. And the dead in Christ will rise first, and then we which are alive shall be caught up together. Oh, they call the community together. that trumpet call of God, he's calling them together. And for having a camp set, we're getting ready to move. Stuff's getting ready to happen here. And when both are sounded, the whole community is to assemble before you at the entrance to the tent of meeting. What's inside the tent of meeting? Well, that's where the old tabernacle was at, and inside of it was the holy place and the most holy place, the throne of God. God said, we got to come together here. If only one is sounded, the leaders, the heads of the clans of Israel, are to assemble before you. When a trumpet blast is sounded, the tribes camping on the east are to set out. At the sounding of a second blast, the camps on the south are to set out, and the blast will be the signal for setting out. To gather the assembly, blow the trumpets, but not with a signal for setting out. The sons of Aaron, the priest, are to blow the trumpets. This is to be a lasting ordinance for you and the generations to come. When you go into battle in your own land against an enemy who is oppressing you, when you go into battle in your own land against an enemy who is oppressing you, sound a blast on the trumpets. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. When he descends from heaven with a shout, with the voice of an archangel and the trump of God, he said, I'm coming back to my land, and I am going to rescue my people from that enemy that's oppressing them. The blowing of the trumpet is a call to war. This is war, baby. And we're ready to get it on. When you go into battle in your own land against an enemy who is oppressing you, sound a blast on the trumpets. Then you will be remembered by the Lord your God and rescued from your enemies. Also, at your times of rejoicing, your appointed festivals and new moon feasts, you are to sound the trumpets over your burnt offerings and fellowship offerings, and there'll be a memorial for you before your God. I am Jehovah your God. I am Jehovah your God. So we see here that the purpose of the trumpets is to gather the people together so that they can go into battle. You number them for war, and it's also for rejoicing, because there's going to be a lot of rejoicing when Jesus comes back, rescues all of us, and vanquishes our enemies, and we enter into the millennial reign.